Welcome everybody to another episode of the show. And my name is Paul Doski. This is a different format. My computer decided right before an hour of this chat with Jeremy Brunton here that it decided it wanted to try to do an update. And I was just like, oh no. And so here we are doing it the old fashioned way, which is the phone. So hopefully you guys can hear me pretty good. This comes out pretty good. Otherwise, if you guys don't hear me that great, then Jeremy lied to me and it's all a failure and I'm canceled. Anyway, Jeremy, welcome aboard.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so you have a YouTube channel that is called The Common Historian. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself first and what kind of led you to do this whole Common Historian project?
Well, for the channel, I originally started the channel as a history channel. It was really going to be my vision was kind of I was going to do like maybe 10-15 minute history deep dives into different topics, American history, world history. But then, it really wasn't taking off. And I think I can't remember what I did, but I tried something like supernatural and I got a lot more views from it. So I started doing more of the kind of connecting the history with kind of the supernatural. So I went and did that until about August of last year. And then I decided, I was like, well, I do have a full-time job. It was really hard to keep up with making the videos on a regular basis and staying consistent. So I was like, I'm a sales manager for my job, real job, or not my real job, but my regular job during the day. And so I was like, I interview people all the time. Why don't I just swap over to more of the interview format? And then as I have time, I can throw some extra, little videos together. But I don't have to be as consistent with that. I'll just do the interview format. So I started that with a local ghost hunting team. They were my first guests, the Misfits Paranormal Crew. And it went great. I enjoyed it. So I decided to, I started booking guests and I did it weekly for, I think it was August and September. I did one a week. October, I tried doing a twice a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays for October, since it was spooky month. I figured I'll do twice, 2 times. And my views went like through the roof. It was great. But I did go back to the once a week until I think it was January. And in January, I started getting people wanting to come on, and I was booking out like into the summer. So I was like, why don't I just go back to the twice a week interviews? And so I did that, and I've been doing it ever since. But what got me into the kind of the haunted part of it, other than that, was that I did live in a haunted house in northern New York here for about 2 years. That kind of got me into the kind of the supernatural. And I have a history degree, so that's why the common historian is where history meets the supernatural.
That's awesome. So you were mentioning you do like these other videos for like your history or whatever. So can you give us like some sort of example of like what you mean by that to help? What did you say? Take the history to meet up with the paranormal.
Well, I'll dive into kind of like the story of different cryptids, or I did one was it's dark history. It's not always supernatural. I'm trying to remember the ladies' names. There was like 6 sisters or something like that grew their hair long. They went around on the different circuits. They had a very tragic story. They're from southern New York. I can't remember their names off the top of my head. That was a couple months ago. I did that kind of a it was like 15-minute video kind of telling their story, supposedly where one of the sisters is buried. It's supposedly she still walks the grounds there. So, I kind of tied that in there as well. Different things like that. I do have one that I'm getting ready to do on the Ohio Frogman. So that one will be coming up sometime in the hopefully next couple of weeks, depending on my schedule. But it's just kind of a variety. But in my interviews, and that's the main thing, is my interview, that I like to bring on different variety of guests. You were one of my guests recently.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And I do investigators, historians, haunted location owners. I bring on people that want to talk about like a certain cryptid, and they have some expertise in it. And I liked just the real thing is I like hearing the stories and kind of gathering the stories of these different people. It's probably similar to what you do with your podcast, but you get the stories, and it just is very interesting to me, and I really enjoy it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I like to go out and do my own body of work too, which I guess what I could say with you is like since you have a degree with history, what is that degree called? Just
It's
history historian.
Yeah, I have a bachelor's degree in history.
Okay, so there's not like there's like a technical term. Okay,
No,
so history in general.
no,
Okay, so how would you take like let's just say your degree, right? And let's say you wanted to do something because there seems to be something weird going on. How do you take like let's just say your history background of let's just say your degree, right? And kind of I don't know like check off what is going on of like the haunted stories.
what I like to do is I like to like research the background. Like if there's a haunted place, is there a reason that place is haunted? Kind of connecting the history to the haunting. Is there kind of looking at the different angles of is the people that are reporting this, are they all seeing the same thing? Is it the same kind of time and place? Can I connect someone from that location to something that was either in the newspaper or something like that? Where did this, I would say, folklore come from?
Right, right.
So that's one of the things, I also like, checking to see sometimes you can almost, certain places have a name and it sounds like it's associated to being supernatural, but when you look at the history, it's really not. It's maybe it was like a road. Maybe it was settlers that were afraid of that road at night. So they started saying, "Oh, well, there's a devil or a ghost that walks the road," but there's nothing that you can connect back. So it's more the folklore, and I'm not discrediting the folklore, but there's nothing you can bring the history into. But there's still the stories.
Yeah, yeah. The go through hitchhikers and all that always seem to be somewhere, whether it be like I'm trying to think of an example here in Rutland that I can give you, like Whipple Hollow Road. Supposedly, we have a lady hitchhiker, supposedly, and we have a male hitchhiker. Which, honestly, I've never really quite heard of a male hitchhiker around Whipple Hollow. I've heard more of a male hitchhiker like around the Pittsford area. That might still be Whipple Hollow, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure it's something completely different as far as road wise.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like we have a road near here. It's called Devil's Den, and I've tried to look into the history of Devil's Den Road, um, and I can't find like credible reports of people have said that they've seen things there.
Mhm.
I do believe that it was more of kind of the early settlers being afraid of this dark forested road at night. So from that fear, they said, well, there must be a devil on that road. So that's kind of a connection in my area.
Do you think, like, would people like that, let's just say, if they believe in it enough, do you think that it could actually become a thing?
I believe that it's it's a possibility. I know that a lot of people believe that is it Egregore? And
Egregore, yeah,
yeah,
that sounds familiar.
if enough people believe in something, that they can artificially manifest it. Um, I think I don't know. I think that there's a possibility of it. I've read some different things, like I think the Hat Man has been
Mm.
one of them that I've heard tied to that egregores. Um, and you know, you just don't know. I think more research needs to be done on that.
Well, the Hat Man is everywhere. It seems like. I mean, now I don't know if we're just calling different entities the Hat Man. So, but I don't think it could be the same one unless it could be. I mean, I don't know. See, that's the thing.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe that either. I've heard lots of different stories from all over about the Hat Man, and I kind of think that's more of a demonic than it is a anything else. I don't think it was created. I think it was something that's been, because I think there's been many stories through the history that have talked about a Hat Man type entity.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes this Hat Man can appear around people that have had near death experiences, NDE and stuff like that, where sometimes this Hat Man is like seen under even like a tree or something. You know what I mean? I've heard of stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but it's just fascinating because one of my things that I've been kind to, I guess you could say, trying to figure out with cryptids lately is like, I'm trying to remember what I was listening to, but it was some podcast, and they were talking about how, well, how come the natives that were here before us, we they had like this great relationship with the wild men or the forest giants, so to say. I forget how the native really. They had different names for them, obviously, but like they had that relationship with them, and then you could say maybe for the example, like Columbus showed up and look what we did. We started to wipe out the native. Did
yeah,
so? Did that sort of behavior change when the let's just say forest giants saw what we were doing to what they would probably consider their friend? Because I mean you hear stories all the time that they used to trade with them and everything else. They weren't always bad taking their women and children,
yeah,
which that's a whole new ballpark as well. But I guess what I'm trying to get at is like where did they come from though? It's almost like, we could go back to what to say the Egyptian. Supposedly they saw the gods come down from their ships, right? And next thing you know, they maybe showed them how to build and like build the Great Pyramid because there is some questionable things when it comes to that. And then afterward, they kind of like disappeared. But it's like, how come now, if that was the case, did we get too advanced where they kind of started to see that, like, we as humans now, we kind of just shoot and ask questions later, or we don't even ask questions later?
yeah. True. I think personally, with the Egyptians and with like the Mayans. Um, I almost think I think that what did they used to call them, like the white gods or something like that. Um, and I think that a lot of that was that they had either a technology that we still don't have, these beings that came, or they really were connected with like psychically, and they could move things with their minds and built a
Oh, telepathic or
telepathic. Yeah,
telepathy, not telepathy. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Think of the word.
telekinesis. There we go.
Yeah, where they can move the objects, because there's no. I just, as a historian looking at, I just don't buy the theory that they had all these slaves moving these big boulders, and then getting them. How I just there's no way it had to have been something where mind control, where they could lift it up, or some kind of weapon that they had, and maybe it's been lost in time now.
Weapon? You mean like some sort of
Not a
device or
weapon,
something
but
to
like
help
a
move it?
device. Yeah, not a weapon, a device.
I was gonna say, what weapon is this now? So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's interesting because I'm trying to remember. I think it was an old like ancient alien, or maybe it's just some sort of other program that history had. But I do recall that they tried to recreate the possibility of
Okay.
moving a said big block, and they didn't get that far with the quote tools that they currently supposedly had. So
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I kind of lean
I
on
think
with
it was
you.
something some kind of psychokinesis or whatever it's called, moving those big objects with your mind. I think that's the only explanation I could really explain or come to.
Yeah, psychokinesis or something. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it's just fascinating because it's just it's just it had become one of the greatest mysteries of all time too. Just like um, we could say that one temple that's in like South America, where they kind of found it in like that jungle. But what's fascinating about this one is like there's a carving on the wall where it almost looks like like an like an astronaut, like somebody sitting down with a lever or something. It's just so weird because if you think about it, it's just like, well, that looks like a spaceship or some sort of plane, but in reality, it looks like a spaceship for sure. Like almost like what you would call a space rocket for not, NASA that we have today.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how did like how did that happen way back when this temple was around? It's just fascinating. But moving forward is what cryptid really had your fascination?
Um, I like quite a few of them, but um, I think Bigfoot is really the one. I personally believe they're interdimensional. I think that they use portals. I think there's portals, in certain areas. I think similar. I think ghosts also use portals too, and that's why they're not always around all the time.
But yeah, you were talking about how ghosts might use portals too.
Yeah, I think that they possibly do. I think that I do believe that they're. I don't know why they're barking. I believe that ghosts could be interdimensional as well, or maybe certain ones possibly. Um,
Can you define real quick of what you mean by certain ones?
like the intelligent ones. I don't think the residual ones use portals. But the entities that are intelligent, I think, I believe that they can, move from one place to another or one plane to another, possibly.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, I'm trying to think of an example here that I can give. Like, there's an old image somewhere. Unfortunately, since I'm on my phone, I can't pull it up to show people like I normally do, but that's okay. But if you guys look up like how a ghost walks through a wall, you should be able to find the image that I'm talking about. But anyway, the point she did is like some people talk about, they see a ghost that walks through a wall, and then it's like, well, it makes sense because if you look at an old blueprint of a building, that area that they were walking through might have been like a doorway. So, and whereas maybe now in this modern era, maybe you, or maybe not even you, but maybe somewhere along the line it got replaced and put up as a wall.
true. I actually experienced that in the haunted house that I lived in. I was sitting in a, I was not sitting, I was going up the stairs in our haunted house, and there's like the stairs are old. They would go up and then curve. There would be a landing and then it'd curve up again, and then there'd be the first uh, bedroom. From there, there was a hallway that went into the other two bedrooms that were upstairs. And I was walking up. I went up to the landing and I started going up, and I could see a woman in white walk from the hallway. She walked into the first bedroom and through the wall. So
Man, that's crazy.
I don't know if there was from what I could find, that I couldn't find where there was an actual like extension. It looks like she just walked through the wall.
Yeah, that's fascinating. That's kind of funny because the old house I used to be brought up with, when you went into the front door to immediately to the left, you would have had one, two, like three or four steps, and then it would have not had a landing, but it would have curved and started to go back up that way.
Yeah. Yeah, this was an old farmhouse that I lived in
Of
for
course
many
it was.
years.
What's up with farmhouses, man? Because that's where my buddy had like our weird experiences with a farmhouse.
Yeah, I think that maybe it's just because they have seen a lot, maybe. I don't know. They've been around for a while. I think that ours, where it was more tied to the cemetery that was near it, the Catholic cemetery that was near it, possibly, because we had a variety of different entities or ghosts in our in the house. So
Oh, geez, so you think there wasn't? Well, it doesn't. It, obviously, there was like no boundaries of like the dead coming in and out. So it was like, oh, we're just gonna come and go as we please. So I mean, yeah, that makes sense. And I don't know. Have you ever maybe wondered if, like, I guess what I'm trying to get at is for this farmhouse, do you know if you have ever looked it up? Like, was the original owner of this said farm or whatever maybe buried in this cemetery?
I don't. Well, I found the previous owner to the. We didn't own the house; we rented it.
Oh, okay.
I did find that there was a little couple that owned it previous to the one that bought it. And I don't know if it was actually there was an actual farm there. Maybe at one time there was. It hadn't been there for a while. But it was I'm pretty sure the little old lady that I used to see was the little old lady that used to own the house. Um, I used to see it a little old lady. I saw her at least twice, full body apparition. Um, one my wife's grandmother lived with us for a little while, and I thought it was her because I went into my daughter was just a baby, and we had the downstairs a bedroom, so she was in her crib, and I went to check on her, and I saw a little old lady, and I thought I thought it was my wife's grandmother. I said, "Oh, Grandma, you're checking on Jazzy, my daughter." And
Mm-hmm.
when I was saying this as I was going into the room. By the time I got to
Mm-hmm.
the crib, there was no one there. Grandma was in the bathroom.
Oh, geez. So what were you seeing exactly? Like, could you just like, was it like a shadow? Was it like just
It
like
looked just. I thought it was. I thought it was her. It was. It wasn't like it was a shadow or anything. It looked like a little older lady looking over into the crib.
Mm.
Uh, and I didn't think anything of it. I just kept walking in, and then it was gone. I did see her a couple times other than that as well, very similar. So,
Hmm.
but those were the two full
Just,
body apparitions I saw.
just out of curiosity, what was like the lighting like? Was there a lot of lighting? Was there just enough to just make out,
Um,
the detail to say it was an old lady? Like,
yeah, it was more the details because, like, I think maybe there was a light. There was no light on in the bedroom, and the bedroom was right next to the living room. I think we had some lights on in the living room, so you could see. There was some light going in there, and to me, it looked just like a. It looked like my wife's grandmother.
now I know some parents they'll have like the baby monitors and stuff where even like the video. Did you guys have that at all?
No, no, we didn't have any. We didn't have any of that. We were just in the kitchen, and I went to check on her, and um, it just happened that I saw that. No, we didn't have. I don't think we had a baby monitor that I remember. This was about 23, 22 years ago. Yeah, 23 years ago. So it was a while ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when baby monitors that had like cameras came into play. So I guess somebody watching this could let me know if that was a thing back in that time frame or not. But it would have been interesting if there was, and if you
Yeah,
could have had one.
and I know we didn't have one, but it was, and like I kick myself now because I'm into the haunted and all this, but back then, you know, we just wanted it to go away. It was annoying. It was
Yep.
annoying at times. Um, it wasn't like what you see on TV either. It was here and there. You'd hear something. We'd hear a baby crying upstairs. See a shadow figure here or there, hear knocking or dancing upstairs. Um, or you just get that weird feeling. Um, you know,
Like somebody watching you.
yeah. I had
Mm.
that experience in the cellar. That was
Oh
in the middle
God.
in the middle of the night. Our breaker blew, and the cellar was creepy as it was, but going down there about 2, 3 in the morning to flip a breaker on, I don't know why I thought that would be a good idea. um,
Was was this shower like low ceiling at all, or was it
it
like
was
you could actually?
no, it was a low
Yeah, go ahead.
ceiling. Yeah, it was a low ceiling. I think I don't even know if I had a flash. I think I had maybe a little flashlight to go down there with. It was cell phones were very new. I didn't think I even owned a cell phone back then. So, but you go down the creaky old stairs, and then of course there's no the light is a pull string in the middle of the cellar.
Oh God.
So you're trying to go as soon as I hit the bottom of the stairs, like all of the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. And I was like, oh, great. To myself,
Yep.
because we were used to the haunt being, having, and I'm like, I don't need this tonight to myself. um, and I knew exactly what it was. And so I, quickly went and found the light, pulled the light string on, quickly went, turned the breaker on, uh, pulled the string and went back up the stairs. I didn't see anything, but I could feel something watching.
Mm.
Whatever it was, and I think it was just a grumpy ghost, was peering from. There was a hole that ran under the kitchen, where like the washer pipes ran, and like I think maybe the sink in the kitchen also. All the like water plumbing pipes ran underneath the full length of the kitchen, and it was a black hole. Like when you go down there during the day, it was a black hole. You couldn't see the end of it, but something was there. Something was watching. I didn't see anything, but I could tell there was something there. Regardless, I did not go down there again in the middle of the night. I don't think actually I went back down there again.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that because like there was a time where I want to say the power blew where I used to live, and of course I had to be the one to go down too. The only thing though was like I just had a little dinky flashlight, and it's a low ceiling, so I totally feel you. I was probably shaggy at that point, man. I was just wanting to get down there and get the hell back out. So,
And that was
but yeah, it's totally creepy.
the only time that I really felt uncomfortable, or it really bothered me. The rest of the time, for the most part, it was knocking here or there. Yeah, seeing those full body apparitions were a little spooky, but it wasn't like I scared me. But after a while, you just kind of becomes second nature. The spirits that we were in there, we coexisted. That's what am I supposed to? You could say coexisted.
Interesting.
And once my brother and sister-in-law lived with us for a little while too, and they actually lived upstairs, and they saw some stuff up there. When they moved out, and my wife's grandmother had moved out, I literally went upstairs during the day, of course, and
Hmm.
I said, "You guys stay up here. We will stay down here." And I never went upstairs after dark after that, ever. Um, you know, I know that my future sister-in-law at the time, she chased what she thought was an intruder down the stairs. It was a shadow figure.
Oh man,
So
that never fun, especially when you're trying to figure out if it was real or like a real
she
person.
thought it was a real person. Um,
Yeah, that's crazy. Nope, no thanks. Like, I guess after they had moved out, did you ever hear any like weird like footsteps upstairs or anything that just sounded weird coming from
yeah,
upstairs?
we would still hear stuff. My wife said during the day when I was gone to work, sometimes she would be watching TV in the living room downstairs, and upstairs it sounded like they were having a dance party. It sounded like they were dancing.
Huh. Uh, yeah. Okay then. I wonder what they were listening to
Yeah,
then.
I don't know, but that's how it started. Though it was a baby crying, and we heard dancing up, like people. It sounded like people dancing upstairs. That's how it really all started, and
Well, that's what I should ask you is like the baby crying, and you know for a fact it wasn't like your daughter.
it wasn't my daughter. No, no, it wasn't my daughter. She wasn't upstairs. Um, and my uh, brother-in-law and sister-in-law, they had a son, but he was, I think, 3 at the time. He wasn't upstairs either. We were actually all downstairs watching TV when we first heard the baby crying.
That unsettling at the same time. So
I couldn't figure out what happened or what I couldn't trace any of the history back to connect the baby at all. Um, so I'm not sure if it might have been something. I don't know. I haven't
they
figured
could
that.
have learned it from your daughter. whatever this thing was.
True. Um, Unfortunately, the house is no longer there. When we moved out, there was some major sewer issues,
Mhm.
and they tore it down. So
Well, that's good, I guess. Maybe. I don't know.
I keep saying that I'm going to stop. I go by it every so often, and I know where it is because the old tree's still there. There's just a sign for they've built an old like senior housing behind where it used to be, but they put the
Oh,
senior
jeez.
housing sign right where the house was. So
Now that makes me wonder if whatever was there went into the senior house.
maybe, or they're still wandering that grounds there. I always said
Well, I don't know.
I want to
I
stop
don't
and
know.
see it someday and see if they remember me and see if there's anything around still in that, you know, in that
Yeah,
area.
that area.
Mm.
Well, here's a fascination question. I'd like to hear your take. So you know how they say like if a ghost is attached to a house or a grounds, right? Which is great for the example of the building itself. But as soon as you tear down the building, though, are is whatever attached to said building now able to wander beyond where the building once stood?
I think yes. You know, like the ghosts there, I don't think they were attached. I don't think they were physically attached to the building. I think they were attached more to the land. So
Hmm.
that's why I believe that they're still in that general area. And someday I'm going to go and see if I can, see if any of them remember me from 20 something years ago.
You want to go stir it up?
My wife probably doesn't want me to. She has a fit when I brought a piece of Wilson's Castle home.
Oh, the brick.
It was from one of the remodels. When you first go in, I think it was the room the first room. I
Oh, the
can't.
library.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, it was. That's what I had purchased that. It was in a little vial. It was wood from that.
Oh, probably you wallpaper or something.
Yeah, it's a little stick. I thought it was cool. I brought it home, and my wife had a fit. I also brought a piece of the wildwood home as well, piece of the roof. So,
Yep, nice. I
uh,
mean, as long as nothing was attached to them, so be it. Because I mean, there is stories from Wilson Castle because you just had to say that, where like you probably heard somebody took the 8 ball from the pool table and they
I
had
did
to
hear
send it
about.
back.
Yeah, I did hear that. I did hear about that. Um,
Um, I heard somebody had bought in a piece of brick and they also sent that piece of brick back because it seemed like something was attached to this said brick. So they wanted it to maybe see if they could just get a new brick that may not have had something attached to it. Oh man, dude, it's funny.
well, I haven't had any, nothing happen, and I've had it for. I went back. I went to Wilson's Castle in October, so it's been a little bit.
Yeah, you should have known something by now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, um, but yeah, my wife doesn't like when I bring things back from haunted locations, but I like little keepsakes.
Don't we all? But I would rather definitely not have something attached to it to bring home. Yeah, I totally agree though.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've had a few follow me home before, even back when I first started. And the latest one that came back with me was oh man, what was that? October 2023. Yeah, that was the last time something followed me home.
Oh, well, I've only done one actual investigation. Like Wilson's Castle, I went and took the tour and kind of explored the castle. I didn't go out and do any like ghost hunting or anything. Um, the Wildwood, I did do an overnight there, and that was awesome. Um, the basement was the best part. That, after talking to you about the basement in my haunted house, I absolutely love the Wildwoods basement. Standing down in the
What
dark.
happened?
Well, they're very interactive there.
Mm.
Spirits are very interactive. Um, you know, I am not by any means a seasoned investigator. I went with the Misfits Paranormal crew, used some of their equipment.
Nice.
I used basically a cat balls, and
Yep.
but like I put the cat ball on the table. I stomped all around it to make sure that it wasn't going to move and light up.
Mm-hmm.
And I did this. I think actually I was live on TikTok live when I was doing it,
Oh, geez. Oh,
and so I made sure that it wouldn't move. And then I started asking, if there's someone here, touch the cat ball, and on command, the cat ball would go off. It was fascinating. It was great. And I had a great time. It was I was not scared the whole time there. It was great. But the basement was where I had the most activity. Some of the other team members did have activity elsewhere in the house, but the basement's where I had the most activity. But
oh, that's interesting.
definitely it's worth going and doing the overnight investigation. Wildwood is great.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Hopefully, maybe one day. When it comes to maybe being able to afford things again, that would be great. So right now it's just hard with bills and adulting, if I can even say that with half
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
What one of your favorite pieces of equipment anyway, like that you've had a chance to use? Because I don't know if you have any yourself.
I don't have any myself. When I went on the investigation, I used the cat ball. They had some REM pods set up, and I used my phone's recorder. that was the extent of mine. So I'd have to say the cat ball because I really don't have a lot of experience with a lot of actual equipment. So
Right. No, I'm just curious. Now, have you ever? I mean, everybody seems to have like their own instinct. Have you ever gone into a place though and felt like, oh yeah, there's absolutely something going on here?
yes, actually, um, there's been a couple places. Wilson's Castle was one.
Hmm.
Uh, the Pink Room, that room. As soon as I walked in there, like everything felt different, and the longer I was in there, the more it would just felt. I don't know how to. Like for me, it was like my chest felt really heavy.
I was just about to say, did it feel heavy?
Yeah, and like my daughter had heard stories about the closet, so she wouldn't go in the closet. But she wanted pictures of the closet. She had me go in there, and that's the heaviest place I believe in that room. It was even heavier there. And then as soon as we walked out and went to the next room, or I think the hallway, I can't remember exactly. Back to normal. Nothing. My chest didn't feel heavy. Anything. It was crazy.
Can you remind me, Pink Room? Is that the one with like the
It's
like what you're mentioning?
there's a mirror in there that supposedly some people have taken pictures, and something
You got
appears.
to be more specific than that because there's another room that has a mirror that has had a picture taken in it. So you got to be more specific.
It's the girl. I can't remember her name.
Was it? Let me ask you this: was this Pink Room? Oh, Sarah's room.
I think yes.
Her room had like this really gigantic mirror, some dolls, and a bed in it.
I think so. And
Like
I
it's
think it's
not.
the same room that has like I think they have some of the like stories or journals that people have wrote about their experiences that they've experienced at Wilson's Castle.
I don't know about that, but oh man, I'm trying to. This
Pretty sure
room
it's
wasn't
Sarah's
connected
room.
to like a bathroom, right?
Yes, there's a bathroom, but when we were there, they were working on the bathroom, so the bathroom was shut off. You couldn't actually go into it.
Um, let me see if I can be more specific. Then, like, if you were to go into this bathroom, it would have went to like this other master bedroom.
I don't remember because I wasn't able to actually go into the bathroom because they
Hmm,
were working on it at the time. I'm
crap.
trying. I'm,
Maybe it is Sarah's room. I
I
might
think it
be
is
getting
Sarah's
Sarah's
room.
room. Yeah.
I think it
Do you,
is. Um,
mhm. Do
I'm
you recall, like, is it when you hit upstairs, you go immediately to your right and then right again into that room? Or was it like you head upstairs and then you had to take a left and it's that last room there on your, what would be your right?
I think it was taking a right. Yeah, I believe. I've only been there once, so I don't. It's been a little
It's
bit.
all good, man. It's all
I
good,
don't
man.
remember for sure. Um, Unfortunately, I don't remember for sure.
I'm wondering if it is Sarah's room then.
I know that it would be facing the front of the castle. Like if you looked out, you'd see the front.
Yeah, so that would be Sarah's room. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I get Pink's room sometimes mixed up with Sarah's room because I'm used to it being known as Sarah's room, not Pink
Yeah.
room.
I
So I
just call
need
it
to.
pink room because it's pink.
Yeah,
But
that makes sense. No,
uh,
yeah, you're talking about that room. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep, yep, yep.
and then the only other time that I've really had that, well, I recently went to New Orleans, and I went on the tour, one of the tours, ghost tours, and when we got done the ghost tour, I really was planning on going to like walk around the French Quarter after and go to Bourbon Street just to walk down it, just because I was there. But
Yeah, why
I
not?
really, we the tour ended at Marie Laveau's house, and I started walking away from that, and I just got this really bad feeling. I don't know what it was. Again, my chest got tight, and I just called the Uber and went home or went to the hotel because I was like, I don't think I should be going any further. I don't know if I'm sensitive or what it is, but I had a bad feeling and nope, I was done. I went back to I went back to my haunted hotel.
Did
uh,
anything happen to you there?
actually no, I was kind of disappointed. I stayed there 2 nights and I, I did nothing happen to me, and I'm like, from what I had read, it was and I'm terrible with remembering names. I should be better, but I'm looking it up.
I feel that, dude.
Um, and I apologize that I am blanking on the name, but two. So I stayed at the Mercantile Hotel, and according to their website, they're very haunted. The bar area, the elevator, which I took many times up and down, and nothing. Um, and the upper floors. Well, I don't. I think there was 10 floors total in the hotel. I stayed on the
Oh,
seventh.
jeez.
I stayed on the seventh floor, and this is a very old hotel. It's the elevator is very old looking. Very nice hotel, but I just I didn't get any vibe. I didn't get any feeling. Um, you know, so I don't know.
Well, what the hell, man? I mean, you go there to try to have an experience, and they
Uh,
didn't want to interact with you.
they didn't
Maybe
want to
next
interact
time.
with me. My boss actually, when he found out the hotel was haunted, he changed hotels. He wouldn't
That's
stay.
hilarious.
He wouldn't stay there. Um, and I said, "Oh, don't change mine." I said, "I'm fine with staying at a haunted hotel."
Right?
Have
I
any
mean, I've slept over at Wilson Castle twice, so I mean, I'm good.
um,
And I mean, I would we were investigated, and where we went to sleep. So it's just like, well, here I go. Get the
yeah,
full experience, baby. You know?
but
Oh man.
no, I was hoping. I was really hoping that I, um, would find, have some kind of experience. Um,
Hmm.
I went up and down the elevator enough. I was hoping that something would take a ride with me up the elevator, but they didn't. At least not that I could
Oh,
feel.
is that what the story is?
One
Like
of
you
them,
get
yeah,
like a
one of the stories is that the elevator itself is haunted. Um, and I took many rides up and down, hoping to find some, but no.
they like what's one like is it like there feels like it's crowded in the elevator? Like what the
They didn't go into big details. I didn't investigate it too much into it. I know that they said that they've I think they've seen some stuff in the bar area.
mm,
People feel, I think they feel watched in the elevator. I didn't feel anything, and I do believe I'm a little sensitive because I've had these other experiences where if there's something there, I can usually tell.
right.
Unless they were, maybe the spirits were avoiding me.
I mean, you were new to them. You were an outsider, so who knows, man.
But
So that's
I
the way
was
I feel half the time.
I was really hoping, and like the room that I was in, it was a really nice room, and they provide like a record player with old records, like an old record player in the room with old records, which I thought was kind of cool. Um, and I was like, oh, well, maybe that'll spark something, but no. I just didn't have any luck with that. But there was something in the French Quarter didn't want me walking around. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
oh boy.
because I got that feeling, and I if I get that, I just felt like I wasn't wanted to be walking
Oh,
around,
yeah.
and I was like, nope, I probably shouldn't be doing this.
You don't have to tell me twice.
So,
But all right, Jeremy. Well, is there a place that is on your bucket list that you would love to one day like go check out or investigate?
um, I want to go to Edinburgh Castle, or actually, I want to go to Scotland, England, Wales, the whole UK, and spend like 3 months there. Just going
Been
from
3 months.
like 3 months going from one haunted location to another, haunted and historical because I like them both. Um,
Hmm.
but there's so much over there. But if I had to pick one place, it'd be Edinburgh Castle. That would be where I'd want
Yep. Oh,
to,
yep.
or the old Rams Inn.
Oh, yes. You, you want to be bit by the succubus or whatever's there. I can't even remember. I know there's quite a few different entities
Yeah.
or was. I don't
Well,
even. I haven't. What's funny is I haven't even heard anything about that place in a while. So,
I had
um,
heard recently that it wasn't haunted anymore. So I don't know if someone cleansed it, but I could be
hmm.
wrong. But it still looks like a cool old inn that I'd like to visit.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I totally feel that. That'd be interesting. I wonder if somebody did cleanse it because they just got way too much. Because last that I remembered, it was kind of intense.
Yeah.
So,
But no,
uh,
that would be where I'd want to go.
yeah, I feel that. Like, I would have loved to have seen like Bobby Mackey's Music World, or yeah, like before they tore it down and stuff like that. Because I used to know somebody that had checked that place out, and they're like, "Oh, you would love it." And then whatever years later, after somebody had said that to me, it was like, "Oh, we're tearing it down." Oh,
They're
nice.
they're building something back there though,
Yes, yes.
so I'm wondering
I
if that place will be haunted.
right, right. Yeah, makes me wonder if the portal to hell will still be there. Oh God, uh, that'd be an interesting experience for sure. Especially if they kept it well, but I don't think they did.
I don't
So
think they kept it either. I'm not 100%, but I don't think they did.
let's hope not. Maybe they called it once and for all.
Yeah,
At
maybe.
least I hope so. But all right, Jeremy. Well, I don't want to take too much more of your time, but before you go, please let us know how can everybody find your common historian channels
So
and stuff.
you can go to YouTube and just put in the Common Historian. Um, I'm also on Facebook. I have a Facebook group, the Common Historian, or you can follow me, Jeremy Brunton, on Facebook. I'm also on Threads, the Common Historian, and then I believe on Instagram and TikTok, I am Jeremy Brunton or Jeremy B. I need to get them all aligned, but I don't have them currently. But uh, I'll make sure to give you all the links if you need them.
That would
Uh,
be great.
so yeah. Well, I thank you for having me on tonight.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time, Jeremy. I mean, it was a pleasure to be on your show, and I would just like I should return the favor. So
Well,
the
I appreciate it.
one person to another who's into this crazy, weird, mysterious beyond, I guess is what we could call it, right?
Yep. Yep.
Before I let you go, you know what? Just because of that little saying, out of all the people that you talk to, and maybe from the research of the history or whatever, what, in your own opinion, what do you think is going on?
I think there's a lot of different things going on. I really don't have the actual answers, even though I've interviewed so many people. Um, I going into these interviews, I didn't believe there was portals. I do believe there's portals now. Can I prove that? No, but do I believe there's portals? Yes. Um, you know, I believed in ghosts prior, but I believe that that there's definitely more to ghosts than what we understand currently. Um, and even with I was a little skeptical on demons, but I do believe there's demons out there. They're not as common as everyone you know is screaming on YouTube or on the TV, but there is demons out there. Um, that would be I think that there's some of the cryptids I do believe are possible. I believe some are folklore. I don't, there is some that I don't think that exists, but I think that whoever saw them believes they did, but it's become more of a folklorish thing. Um, so, I think that's what I've learned from interviewing so many different people.
That's fair, man. I mean, I don't have the answers either. I can just only go by assumptions of what I've gathered throughout my investigation and theories of whatever, and just everybody else that has shared their thoughts, opinions, and to make me rethink of stuff. I
Yeah.
honestly believe from where I am now, I want to think everything is connected one way or another.
I think there's connections between the different, entities. Should I, if you want to classify them all as that?
Yeah, we can totally do that because that must be like what it is. Kind of like what I was asking you, at the very beginning. Do you think like, if enough people believe, do you think that we could create it in a way,
Yeah.
make it more solid, if I can even say that?
Yeah. Yeah. And I am skeptical on the egregores. I'm not sure on that. I did a whole episode with DAY song on egregores, which was a fascinating conversation. I'm just not sure I'm completely convinced that can happen, but I'm not convinced it can happen. So I'm kind of in the middle.
Hey, that's fine, man. Until we get that answer, that will be the only thing that matters, maybe in the end, right?
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you once again for your time. And for everybody else, if you made it this far, please go check out Jeremy. He has had me for whatever it was even called, Vanishing, Vermont Vanishing or something like that. I can't even remember. But we did it for like National Missing Children's Day. And we were just talking about some weird cases in Vermont. And I believe a little bit of my own stuff,
Yeah,
give or take.
into your haunting a little bit or your experience.
Yeah, probably what really got my foot wet, probably. But either way, man. I mean, maybe we can come back and re-chat in like a couple months, something, and see where we're at. If anything has happened to you prior, or everything else.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Well, for everybody else, yeah, check out Jeremy's stuff. Everything else will be in the description below. And until next time, folks, keep your eyes open because whether it's inside of the Green Mountain State or beyond the Green Mountain, we want to know your stories, your experiences, because in a way, we all intertwine and connect one form or another.